Hey, well, good afternoon, First Baptist Church, and welcome to Hendo at Home. I tell you what, every time we do one of these things, I love being able to connect with you, but my heart hurts because we're not together. And that is our prayer, is that when the Lord is going to bring us back together, I cannot wait for that day. It is going to be so exciting. But meanwhile, we want you to tune in of what's going on here at Hendo at Home and our weekend worship services. And so stay connected. If there's a need that you have, you please call the church and let us know that need, so we want to be able to connect with you. Thank you to all the Sunday school classes that are doing Facebook Live and Zoom conferences and calling people and connecting with them. That is so important. Know that we love you and we care about you. Today, Justin Alexander is going to be bringing our Hendo at Home devotion. So Justin, you come and share with us.
Thanks, Dave. In this time, I'm often thinking of a story that happened with my son about 2 years ago. If you know, having toddlers or little ones, sometimes they do very funny things and say very funny things. And I remember back of a time when in the middle of the night, all of a sudden we get woken up to screaming, and my son's screaming in the room beside us, "Help, help, help!" And so we both shoot up out of bed, and if I'm honest, Sarah shoots up out of bed a little quicker than I do, and we run to the room, and we see that for some reason Titus's sleep pants are down to his knees, and he's got a hold of them, and he's grabbing them as hard as he possibly can and pulling and saying, "Help, it's not working." When little did he know that the reason that it was not working is because he was standing on his pants. So because he's standing on his pants, he can't pull them up. Well, I think that we deal with something similar in our Christian lives. You see, so often we're wanting God to work in our lives, asking for Him to work, but there's something that keeps getting in the way, and that thing is ourselves. See, Paul, in the letter to the Galatians, he talks about what I believe is the key to living a life that's glorifying to God, living a life in which we give God the opportunity to work in and through us. And this is what he says in verse 20. And let me clarify this. What he says is this. It's not try harder or do better or any of those things. What he says is really give up and let God lead. This is what he says in verse 20. He says, "I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me." I want to give you just two truths from this that I think would be very good for you as you walk this way with Jesus. First of all, what Paul says is the first key is that you have to die to yourself. And that's very hard for us. We want to be in charge. We want to make the rules. We want to do everything that we know we need to do to make our life great. But the reality is that we make bad decisions, right? And oftentimes we think with minds that are not perfect and not working well. And so what Paul says is this. He says, if you want to live a life that is glorifying unto God, the first thing you have to do is just die to your own self, die to your desires. And then from there, let God lead. Let God lead. He says, I'm crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And let me show you how this is important. What do you think is going to work out better in your life? If you, the finite person, who sometimes makes bad decisions, sometimes acts on a whim, all that, if you're the one making the decisions in your life, or if the one who's all-knowing, all-powerful, in control of all things, created the universe, sent his son Jesus here, and then made salvation possible for the entire world, who do you think is going to be the best one at running your life and leading you? I'm choosing option B. I'm choosing God. So because that's true, I think our refrain in our life should be what Paul's refrain is, and that's this: yet not I, but Christ in me. In our workplace and in our professions, what would it look like if our refrain was, yet not I, but Christ in me? In our homes, in our marriages, and with our kids, what if our refrain was, yet not I, but Christ in me? Man, I think in there it would unleash God to do some incredible things in our lives. And maybe, just maybe, it would give a greater witness to the world of what Christ has done and what He can do in those around us. Let's pray, and then listen to this song that Chason's going to lead to us. God, you're good. We love you. God, right now, what we confess is that we can't do it on our own. God, we die to ourselves. we give you control. And let us be willing to say, yet not I, but you, Christ, in me. Amen.
What gift of grace is Jesus my Redeemer? There is no more for heaven now to give. He is my joy, my righteousness and freedom, my steadfast love, my deep and boundless peace. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus, for my life is wholly bound to His. Oh, how strange and divine, I can sing, all is mine, yet not I, but through Christ and me. The night is dark, but I am not forsaken, for by my side the Savior, He will stay. I labor on in weakness and rejoice, for in my need His power is displayed. To this I hold, my shepherd will defend me, and through the deepest valley He will lead. Oh, the night has been won, and I shall overcome, yet not I, but through Christ in me. No fate I dread, I know I am forgiven. The future sure, the price it has been paid. For Jesus bled and suffered for my part, and He was raised to overthrow the grave. To this I hold, my sin has been defeated, and Jesus now and ever is my plea. Oh, the chains are released, I can sing, I am free, yet not I, but through Christ in me. With every breath I long to follow Jesus, for He has said that He will bring me home. And day by day I know He will renew me, until I stand with joy before the throne. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus, and all the glory evermore to Him. When this race is complete, still my lips shall repeat, yet not I, but through Christ in me. When the race is complete, still my lips shall repeat, yet not I, but through Christ in me. Yet not I,